Kavan, welcome, brave souls. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are back for some Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. However, as with last episode, the circumstances are a little bit different. I will not be the GM this evening. And for those both watching us live and here in the archives, you'll see I've taken a more appropriate position on that as far as the rank order list for today's GM will be our own Joe the Overland Gamer. Now, before we hand things off and continue our current episode, Darkest Nebula, Part 2, I do want to give the usual acknowledgments and check-ins to our fellow streamers that are also in the game. So the first tonight would go over to one Caligo and their channel on at twitch.tv/XylaOXO. Tell us anything particularly special going on over there right now.
I almost have emotes.
Oh boy, I remember hearing about that, and I was looking for them, and it was just the I've just seen the lol for now, but
The artist hasn't resized them yet for some reason. I'm still waiting. They said they would.
Well, I'm sure it'll get there soon, and all shall be well. But
I'll spit in their eyes if they don't.
oh dear. Always treat your artists well, but I suppose on occasion, in the most egregious circumstances, acid spit may be warranted. All depends.
Okay.
Anyway, so aside from that, obviously I know that there's the D&D campaigns and other fun gaming going on over there too, so I definitely recommend checking it out. Also on the stream would be our own Overland Gamer, who's also running the Overland Gamer podcast. Tell us, Joe, before you take us on this Star Trek adventure here, anything particularly special going on over with your projects?
Yeah, well, first we're celebrating June being the countdown to Free RPG Day, which happens on June 22nd, I believe, this year. You can check out your friendly local game store to see what events they have planned. I think it's freerpgday.com. I'll share the link here in the chat as quick as I can.
I've got
basically, it's it's basically a way for game stores to kind of network with RPGs that a lot of people may not know about. And so our podcast these past few episodes have been highlighting that. I did a Dreams and Machine focused episode last, which was fun, where I kind of did a solo play of that system. It's another system from it's another game setting from Modiphius, the same folks that did Star Trek Adventures. So that was really cool to do, and we got more of TTRPG stuff going on this month. So fun times there, and of course over on my streaming channel, we're doing Stardew Valley. I'm working on a little side project that hopefully will be fun with Knights of Pen and Paper. So we'll see what we can do with that going forward.
Copy that. Well, with all that, I hope you all check them out. For those of you catching this in the archive, links will be in the description of the video so that you can check out all of this. With that, that's about all I have to say as far as running things go. So, Joe, I'm going to leave us all in your capable hands.
Greetings. I, as we have mentioned, I am Joe. I will be your game master for the evening. Before we start, we have two small housekeeping details. Tonight's episode features elements of spooky spook horror, supernatural horror. While I have kept it on very light for the sake of the live stream and the archive, it still holds that element of supernatural horror and kind of those tense moments of scariness. Mental awareness, especially when playing games, is super important. When one of us struggles, the game stops being fun for all, and sometimes we don't notice it until it's too late. For our players, if things get a bit too dark or hard or difficult, please message me in Discord or signal me on Roll20 with either details of what's going on or just a simple X. I'll respect that and we'll change the scene up a bit to be cleaner or lighter. We're all here to play games and have fun. I also need to adjust a small house rule. The Nebula die, or house die, didn't work as well as I had hoped it would have when we tested it out last session. So, we're changing it up a little bit. For this adventure, whenever a player rolls a skill check, they roll an extra 20-sided die. That's a d20. The adjustment from last time is that if the lowest die is that extra die, then a narrative complication occurs. If it applies, a player may choose to use that die as part of their success. Doing so triggers a possible second, at least a narrative complication that may be dealt with during that scene or a later scene. This provides a little bit more essence to the player to help with the story. Some of these complications will be supernatural and in nature, as the Nebula die or the house die is also playing along with the players. So, danger lurks and moves all around our players, and hopefully this way the Nebula triggers a little bit better. And now, shall we play a game? Last time on Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. Deep into that darkest nebula, the Yan adrift and her crew asleep. The crew awakens to a darkness peering. Strange things happening all over the ship. While the ship is running on emergency power, the crew tries to figure out what is happening. A captain dissolving into a puddle of goo. The engineering crew trying to figure out why the sensors show low fuel reserves when the actual dilithium in the engine look perfectly fine. A nebula tired of being ignored, and a proximity alert. And now for the continuation of Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword, The Darkest Nebula, Part 2. The scene opens with the Yan drifting deeper into the active nebula. Lightning is seen all around the ship now. The occasional lightning strike against the ship's hull, causing little sparks and burn damage. The rumble of thunder can be heard for a distance around. The ship continues to drift slowly. On the bridge, the view screen shows the stormy nebula outside. It shows the growing shadow ahead of the ship, a growing shadow ahead of the ship. The warning signals on the ship start going off. Proximity alert. Proximity alert. On the bridge, I believe we had Vopri and let me switch screens here.
Zional and Kemok are also there.
Thank you. My Roll20 decided it didn't want to reload, and it was showing me a blank screen there for a second, but it seems to have fixed itself. All right. So, Vopri and Kresik, what would you like to do?
Kresik would like to be sad that he is not here.
And
Well,
It's a
either we could
paranormal
go to
phenomena.
yeah, we could.
Far away on a distant planet, Kresik feels sad.
He had his chance, fumbled it.
Feels sad for no explicable reason.
No reason. Just saying.
Sneeze take.
Yep.
Let's see.
We can. Oh, sorry. Good.
You hear, if I recall right, a lot of you have heard or are familiar with Betty, right, in the computer system.
I don't think that's actually broadly known. Because
not in the computer system. No.
yeah,
Okay.
we only
Hemlock
know that
never actually met her, so he has no idea.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
We only got. I think that we only got something with. Some of us got a computer message last session, but we didn't know entirely like what it meant or like we never guessed at the source, or we might have assumed that it was just other like someone else providing helpful information or like sensor data, because I'm fairly certain it came up when I was conducting a sensor scan of some sort, or an internal sensor scan was what it was.
Yep. And I know we got the engineering displays showed proximity alert, which they don't normally show that.
Yep.
That
That
was
was
that
the
kind of
message
data
Betty
down
passed
there.
along.
That was the end, the one of the end scenes last time. Over the comm systems, you hear, "Darling, something else is here. I'm trying to help from in here, but y'all are gonna have to. I'm gonna keep this feller busy." And the communication lines appear to be open, and you can talk between engineering and the bridge.
Why is that voice in the ship?
Like, who is that? Is that somebody I haven't met yet? I thought I knew all the crew.
It is complicated, but I was quite certain that it was something I thought with the member of the crew we lost back on Horsemar.
It's a portent of the end times, but right now it's on our side.
All right, great.
I don't know if
I
it's
mean,
that
like-
great.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where the captain went. Like, did he like leave clothes behind, or did he just turn to goo?
You're standing next to him, Kemak.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you give me a? And my cheat sheet's gone. Here. Why don't you give me a presence and either do security or science, whichever one is better.
Oh, it's definitely going to be security. Presence
and
and security.
you can swap it over to insight too. Either one.
No, presence and security will be better. I will do that.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
there's that roll, and then you need a D20 as on top of that. Yes.
Yep.
So there you go.
All right. This was a difficulty. This was a kind of a higher difficulty one. I'm not very good at telling you guys what the difficulty is right off the bat. I apologize for that. Sometimes it's good to know. Sometimes it's good to have the mystery. You hear kind of a clank on the floor, but you're not entirely sure where it came from. It could be the buckling of the deck plates that you've heard previously through this adventure, or it could be something else.
Okay, but when Azek melted, did just his biological components melt and he left behind a uniform, or did all of him melt?
The uniform is still there. The goo resembles like cottage cheese, but just a little bit smoother. So like tapioca pudding.
Oh,
Oh. Oh,
this is so
Oh,
cursed.
no.
dude, I was swallowing egg noodles when you said that. Oh,
Creative word.
oh, I can
was.
taste it now. Oh, oh, damn you.
Is that an X moment or what?
Oh, that was perfect.
I gotta clip that later.
Oh. Okay, so Hamak goes, should I like get a scoop and a bucket or something and pick the captain up?
Oh, I had not thought of that, although I do not understand the internal sensors. It still reads him as a steady bio sign, but that can Vopri go and take a quick scan just to see if if the goop that is the captain is still reading as is reading as a life form, an actively living thing, or is more in the realm of bio residue from something that was once alive?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. That would be what, a reason or insight in science or medicine, maybe.
I think reason plus science would apply more. Vopri is kind of
Perfect.
he's pursuing the academic question of, is the captain a goop or is this goop the captain? And he's going to throw everything he can at this with a Klingon scanner. So his sensor operations focus is going to come into play. May I ask the difficulty beforehand?
Difficulty of 2.
All right. I'm going to throw a momentum at this for cautious science to apply and to buy a third die, and then let's see. I can't think of anything else, so I'm just going to give that a try there for 4 successes. I will also roll the bonus D20, or the Nebula D20.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a bonus.
Yeah, so 13. I'm going to elect to keep the 4 dice that I rolled there for my roll.
Okay. All right. Both of you, as you are getting the scan, need to give me a control and command or presence and con roll.
Good rolls. I guess Vopri's gonna test his control and command here. Let's see.
This is like watching Tabak fight.
Yep. Let's see. So, I should say I had, from that roll, I should have 2 momentum incoming. Vopri is, Azik is probably the person that Vopri most likes or has a respect for on this crew, so, if it's okay with you guys, I am going to use one of those incoming momentum I had. The other one, Sean, if you want to use that for yours, great. If not, then I can just put it back in the pool, where, we would be maxed out with that, so, we're not hurting right now is my point.
And this die roll.
I apologize. Did I just need to roll something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Control
crap.
and command or presence and con. This roll does not need the extra D20.
Okay. So,
Presence and con or presence and command?
Yep.
I apologize. I didn't hear the prompt to roll. My bad.
I heard control, so that control.
Oh,
command.
control. I'm sorry. Control and command or presence and con.
So I will.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'll take
Difficulty
at least
of 1.
Hey, successes. So, since Sean didn't take that other momentum, we should have.
Yeah.
We have a full pool of momentum at 6, and I earned us 1 floating momentum, so we could conceivably ask a question after this. But go ahead, Joe.
So based on your sensor readings, you see your sensors are displaying that something is there. A life form is there. While you're doing the scan, you notice very briefly a ghostly figure of Azek uh, reaching out uh, towards both of you as though he's trying to get your attention. It's a very spectral form, so it's very clear. It's very ghostly. As far as the material that's on the, the goo, it does have a biological component to it, but upon deeper scan, there are elements of it that do not appear to be uh, a standard Klingon uh, biology. There's something off about it that a scan of a Klingon is different, of a regular Klingon is different than the scan of what you've got there.
And there's basically no chemical or biological process that we would be aware of that would turn a Klingon into tapioca pudding, is what I'm hearing.
Correct. And the second roll that you guys did was from seeing the spectral form appear and kind of reach out for you. You felt kind of those hairs on the back of your necks kind of stand up, and that fear starting to try to take hold. But both of you were successful in mentally kind of keeping that at bay.
Oh,
The
okay. And
spectral
the spectral hand came out of the chair or out of the pile of tapioca?
It came out of a figure just sitting there as though Azek was sitting there. Um, it's it looked like he was there, just his body wasn't, for a couple of moments, and then he reached out for you guys, and then try to get your attention, and then he disappeared back into nothing.
Well, I suppose, whilst we have that floating momentum, and if anybody has a better question, I'll abstain from it, but I do kind of want to use it to ask, when said spectral form appeared, did anything, like, register differently on my sensors? Was there any sort of energy or, like, was there any sort of strange energy that my little scanner might have picked up to speak to anything that was going on there, basically? If anybody else has a better question, then I'm perfectly happy to substitute it, but I think that's potentially useful.
I think that's a good idea.
All right? Yeah,
Go for it.
Let's go for it.
Okay. It's the spectral form itself registered the life form, and so did the goo. Now, with your experiences with this kind of things in the past, which I'm assuming is not very much, if there's nothing there, there shouldn't be a life sign there. But as that form was there, it registered, and it's still registering now that there's some kind of a life form there. Going down to the goo doesn't provide any stronger of a reading of a life sign.
So,
Does that answer your question?
So but it's no stronger of a reading, but it is still the same strength
Correct.
of a reading.
Correct. Vopri, you're standing over there. Why don't you give me a kind of a notice check, either an insight, security, or presence and security. This
I'll,
is a high difficulty challenge.
I think these are things Vopry is not good at, and because it is more funny, I am going to attempt a standard roll there, so just give it 2. Would I be rolling the Nebula dice as well?
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
'Cause
dear.
that is 2 failures right there. Or not critical failures. Ooh, the Nebula die would be a success. So I think I'm going to take it. 1
Okay.
success. And Vopry risks the ire of the spooky spooks.
Not the spookies.
You see, and only you are seeing this, a very translucent image comes walking into the bridge, and it walks over to where Azek is sitting, kind of behind his chair. And only you are seeing this. Your sensors or your scanner is not picking up any extra life forms in here. It walks over to where Azek would be sitting, and it reaches out its hand and places it as though it was placing it on Azek's shoulder. For a brief moment, Azek's form, the spectral form, appears, and it appears to be writhing in pain. All of you on the bridge here, and those in the engine room, because the comms are still open, hear a very loud Klingon shriek of pain. And the goo, the spectral image, all disappear in kind of a puff of.
Puff of? Was I the only one who just lost signal?
Nope. I ended in puff of. So also the GM disappeared in a puff of.
Yeah.
Oh,
The GM disappears in a puff
Wait,
of
hold
logic.
up. That's actually brilliant.
yes.
Oh my god, Joe is a genius.
Best GM in this campaign. that
Azek disappeared, and so Joe also. Oh my god, what do we do, guys?
When did you lose me?
we lost you
Puff
after.
of.
Yep, literally perfect timing.
Oh, okay. Apparently, shift to talk, touch to talk has a limit when holding it. Okay, so has Azek let out a scream yet?
Yes.
Yeah. The goo and
Okay.
the figure were disappearing in a puff of.
The goo and the translucent figure was disappearing in a puff of smoke. He lets out a scream, and there seems to be an object on the floor next to the captain's chair. There is the captain's clothes are still there, but the goo and the figure are gone, and so is the spectral image or the black smoke that only Vopry was seeing.
Yeah. Vopry is going to shrink like seeing Azek in pain. No. Stop, please stop. And as everything puffs away, he's just going to start shaking and backing up a little bit. Couldn't help.
Dude, what? It just evaporated. That was. Wait, no, the technical term, not evaporated. Wait, I gotta remember it sublimated. That was what it just did. That was weird, man.
That is technically accurate, but I do not understand what happened, who was that did this to Azek. There is something.
Dude,
terrible.
calm down.
Since we've established the comm lines are going on, I'm just going to say, butting in over the audio. Bridge, this is engine room. What hell is going on up there?
Who's next in line, man? Who gets to talk to the engine room?
Do we have anybody from Engine Room live? Because I know one of us was having problems.
I'm back.
Oh, good.
I do have some things that Xynal would be wanting to do.
Okay, this would be a good time if the bridge crew is okay with it. We can traverse back down to the engine room.
Well,
Well, I mean, Xynal's on the bridge, so...
yeah.
Oh, Zynal. Yep, Zynal. Go for it.
So first thing first, Xynal has the talent Empath.
Okay.
And so what it says is... you can sense the emotions of most living beings nearby, except for those that are resistant to telepathy. It may require effort and a task to pick out the emotions of a specific individual in the crowd or to block out the emotions of those nearby. So while they're doing the physical scans, I've been trying to see if I can isolate and how many presences I am feeling in this room.
Okay. Why don't you give me a control command or presence and con roll?
Can I do? Oh, these are.
This will
What
be
did you
a
say?
difficulty of 1.
Control command or
Either
presence con?
control command or presence and con.
They're actually the same because I don't think I have a focus that applies. So I'm going to do control command.
Okay. And you do not need the extra die on this one.
Okay.
You feel as a lot of this is going on, kind of going back to the moment where Vopri gets up from the screen, his station, and walks over to do a closer scan. Your mind is bombarded with emotions. All around you, you can feel heightened fear, heightened loneliness, but it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing. It's like like somebody is going through the worst terrors of their life all at once, and they're being completely afraid, but they're perfectly fine with it. I would equate it to somebody getting their limb chopped off, and they're just having a grand old time with it. It is a very strong and very almost overpowering sense of emotion. When Vopri does his scan and you see that spectral image, the you don't see the spectral image, but you feel that it's there. It's kind of a fear of where am I? What's going on? Why can't you guys see me? Those kind of feelings, those kind of emotions. When they disappear in the flash and the goo kind of dissipates in the smoke, you get a sense of extreme calm. All that fear of lost, of where am I, of who am I, that kind of thing, disappears from that kind of area, but there's still a lingering feeling of that emotional loss all around you and that emotional pain. It's not as severe as it was.
Okay, nope, don't like any of this. We'll process that later. The other thing he wants to do is he wants to go over to the tactical console and he wants to try and figure out what this thing coming, if he can do anything to help identify what this dark mass is.
So you're trying to scan.
Yeah,
Use the sentry. Okay.
he's assuming that the ship's weapon systems will have the best scanning capabilities because this is a Klingon vessel, and thus is trying to use that.
Okay. I know Vopri has been using to scan for life forms on the ship. You'd probably have both life forms and possibly. I'm assuming we have security cameras on here on the ship.
No, I'm talking about the proximity alert.
Oh, gotcha. You're yeah. Sorry, I was thinking internally. You were thinking externally.
We can handle our hallucinogenic nightmares so long as we're still alive to deal with them.
The object, there is a very large massive object coming towards you. In fact, there's several of them. Your sensors aren't picking up anything firmly metallic, but there is metal in there. Um, Kind of your deduction. Why don't you give me a what would this be? Insight or control, and either engineering, security would work. Kind of to do an external scan. The computer may help with this one.
Yeah, can
The
I do
computer rolling a
insight and security?
yeah, I'd allow that one.
And then um, I'm going to pitch to you a focus, since you said that there were metallic bits in there. And because Zynol is in the business of buying and selling goods and identifying goods, equipment requisition being an applicable focus to try to identify what some of these metallic compounds are.
Sure. I would allow that focus. Yeah.
Okay. And this will require a d20 roll as well, right? A separate d20 roll?
Yes. Yes. Along
Okay.
with the ship.
Okay.
The
So
ship will need to use sensors and let's do either science or engineering.
What was the difficulty, by the way?
2.
Sweet.
okay. I was getting to the ship sheet now. So question would be, could I get that one more time?
Computers, or excuse me, sensors and engineering, or sensors and science.
I think I will go for science on that one. So, no luck there.
And you know what? Because I'm feeling like having fun, 13 is my upper range of a success. So let's use that d20 to give me a third
So
success.
you're gonna use all 3. Perfect.
Yes, because I want to have fun.
Yeah.
You hear
Zionol does
over
not, but you know.
you hear over the comms a very uh, bubbly, very southern accent voice state, "Well, darling, I really want to help you out here, but everything in me's telling me that the 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 object outside, it seems to be there, but it doesn't seem to be there." And then you hear a very raspy, "How dare you mess with them like this?" And the very you hear kind of a shriek, and gotta go. And the comms seem to go eerily silent. On the screen in front of you, you see a very dark hand kind of move from the view screen, the kind of on the other side of it, on the inside of the screen, and it slowly moves across the screen before it disappears off to the side. It gives you very strong chills and you feel um, kind of that terror. Uh,
Did anyone else lose him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
lost him again myself.
After we feel that terror.
I feel the terror in my soul.
Vopry's useless at this point. He feels it hard.
Vopry is terror.
Yeah, Vopry is a shivering just. If he had any hair whatsoever, it would stand on end. But as I understand, Rantal do not have hair, so
The singular hair that has grown on his chest since he joined this crew.
he's perspiring, and it is just because it is just like flowing down his face. He is sweating through his clothes badly. Honestly, Zionol, part of the terror you probably felt there was just him.
Oh,
being,
absolutely.
like, he is like an obnoxious buzz.
Absolutely.
You've seen nothing, Traven.
Isaac, come back.
I'm here. When did you lose me?
We lost you after
There was
you
a
feel
chill.
the terror.
A hand moved across the screen and I felt chills.
Okay. I don't know why my thing keeps cutting out. Anyway, so you missed the whole description of the asteroid.
Yep. Sorry.
So
Uh-oh.
I think you're doing it on purpose.
no, I wish. No. Okay. So outside, the sensors do detect an asteroid, and it does appear to be fractured. From these sensors, you can detect where it is, some of the metals that are in it, but you didn't. From this, you can't kind of narrow down exactly what it's comprised of, and you can only tell that you are drifting towards it. It does not. You're from this kind of from your. I don't know how sciencey you are.
Not
But
super
you're-
sciencey.
Okay.
Again, this was more trying to identify a threat.
Yep. Well, you've identified a threat.
It is an unarmed asteroid, though, correct? No
Yes.
weapons emplacements. Okay.
Nope. There's no identifiable ship components or energy signatures coming from it.
Sweet. Any unique metals?
Not that you can detect.
Okay. Let's see. I have one floating momentum. Time to impact. I'm going to spend my floating momentum to
Okay.
ask the GM a question.
Okay. We will say
If it's speed of plot, that's okay too.
well,
it's
it's
more-
actually speed of that alternate die, so it could be quick and it could be really quick, or it could take a while. But let's just say an hour.
Okay. All right. So with that information, I look at my options of people to respond to the engine room's hail. Sigh, roll my eyes, and answer. Hello?
So you're trying to connect with the engineering
Yes,
room?
because engine
Yep.
room did page us.
Yep.
Well, as I
There you go.
understood it, we had like an open comm line down there thanks to Betty's intervention. So,
Yep.
Oh,
There's a direct open comm line.
excellent.
Yep, I wanted to make
What?
sure we had a chance to connect with Raldar, Traven, and the other supporting characters on the lower decks.
The captain turned into goo, and then turned into. You said that something was left there at the chair, right?
Close.
The character. Just close. That was it.
Yep.
Captain turned into goo and then disappeared. And we're about an hour out from interfacing with a heavily unarmed asteroid.
What? An unarmed asteroid?
Yes, it's not going to shoot at us, but we're going to crash.
Oh, that's bad.
It's bad, but it's better than if it was going to shoot at us.
Is this ship big enough to have like a shuttle?
I wish. Believe me, I wish so badly right now.
Okay.
I would even take you with me. That's how badly I wish there was a shuttle.
Yeah, I can. Wait, what? You know, I think I just got insulted.
I love
Somebody
that,
help me calm down. Go ahead.
I just love that the like Zion Olsen desperately trying to keep the engine room staff in the loop, and it's Hemok that's it's just like he's thinking it's a conversation with only him. It's perfect.
Shamok.
Maybe help me with the little blue guy. He's like pissing himself over here.
Yes, we need to take him somewhere that's not here, where he saw whatever is throwing him into a tailspin. Yes, very sad. But you said something earlier about a box that wasn't there
Box.
when you came in.
He sits there and he's like scratching at the ridges on his forehead, thinking really hard. Yeah, box. Right. Because I've been racking out in the cargo hold. And
Yes.
there was.
Yes, we know.
And when I woke up, I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up, and there's a box there that I didn't load up.
And Kelshaw told us the transporters had been activated. Maybe we should take little fellow here.
Kelshaw. Oh wait, is that pretty girl?
Sure. Maybe we could take our little friend here, and we can go and see what that is. Because, quite frankly, I don't want to die in an hour. Maybe you do.
Well, when do you want to die?
When I'm old and rich.
Oh, okay.
And I am neither of those right now.
All right. Well, just let me know. I can help you out at that point.
Also, asteroids wouldn't be very honorable now, would they? Crashing into an asteroid in an unpowered ship.
I don't know if you're working hard not to. It's no bad way to go.
Is the asteroid a vaunted enemy of the Klingon Empire?
No, but right now that giant rock is our personal enemy. So yeah. So yeah, help me with the blue guy because he's like peed his pants already.
Blue guy.
The little blue guy.
Blue guy. We get him cleaned up. We go look at the box. Engine room. That's what we're doing.
Okay, fine. Come on, blue guy. Let's go. We're gonna go take a look at a box.
Are the engineering comms still open?
They've been open this whole time.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
You've just heard this.
We can't turn them off.
Zionol, you need to be very.
I'll let you borrow mine.
I need to be very what?
You need to be very careful. Whatever is on this ship, it's attracted to fear. It took away mine. It's probably gonna go after Vopri.
Well,
Took away.
he-
What? It ate your fear.
I'm no
First of
longer
all-
afraid to be alone.
first of all, that can't happen. So
It is.
we'll check
Why?
that box off.
I'll go
but-
check that box by myself to prove that what's happening is happening. I am not afraid to go alone on the ship anymore.
Anyways, moments of ridiculousness and
Okay.
and
Weird
incredible
personal admission, but okay.
mental breakdowns aside, we need to go and see what that is. Maybe this is Trader's Guild. Who knows? Finally manifesting in that twisted little brain of yours. Anyways, we need to go.
Okay. Do I need to carry the little blue guy?
If he can't walk on his own, probably.
Will he get up?
Very begrudgingly. I'm sure that Hemok could get him to his feet.
I mean, I can just pick him up. Don't and stand him up.
Yep. I don't imagine that'd be terribly difficult.
Come on, little dude. You okay?
I-
You need a towel?
yes.
I'm pretty sure there's got to be at least a tray of food that was brought up here with a napkin on it. Grab the
Well-
napkin, drop a plate to the floor, and hand it to him.
He'll like dry his face just a little bit, but yeah. I think.
Oh, you needed it for your face?
He is sweating profusely. Anyway.
Okay, I thought you wanted to clean up the mess in your drawers, but okay. All right, other short dude with the funny hat. Let's go.
Right. Well, unless anybody else has things, I think that covers the bridge stuff.
Yeah. So you guys are heading down to engineering or down to the cargo bay?
I think that
Wherever the box was, we're letting Shamak
Okay.
lead the way.
Okay. Down in the engine bay, you guys have received the warning of the proximity alarm. You heard a very loud Klingon shriek over the comm systems, and you've had a discussion with the bridge a little bit. You've heard much of what's been said up there through the comm systems. What do you wish to do now?
Raven sits down and starts messing with the flashlight.
Raldar, you are the senior officer to board this vessel, and if Azik's gone, you are in charge. What do we do?
Yeah, I thought I heard that someone else is about to speak.
Oh no, I just agree. We could really use we could really use instructions right now, boss.
Well, considering the state of how everyone woke up, have we done a full head count since some people are disappearing?
Has anybody checked on Dar?
That's what
I don't know. I still have my head.
These comms are always on, aren't they?
You hear laughter coming from the cons, a very deep and raspy ha 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 ha.
You know, I don't know much about whatever you think you are, but we've killed our gods once, and we will do it again.
I will settle for good system debug, but I have to imagine bridge crew did something to double check that, and I may be able to pull up sensor readings here. But once we figure out who is here, we should also probably figure out how to restore power to ship, so we can either use engines to move and not crash into the asteroid, get weapons back to destroy asteroid, or call me crazy, but maybe find a way to determine what is affecting our computers this way, given inconsistencies we have spotted. If they're... I don't know about you, but I have heard some tales of sometimes space madness or buggy computers, or weird combinations of that, which...
I'm not mad, Ptah.
Not making any judgment, you know. This could easily be any number of vectors that space can be very hard sometimes.
You will speak when you are spoken to.
You hear a very raspy voice kind of all around you. It starts from the speakers, the comm systems, and it starts to kind of address you, Kresic.
Chris, I guess
or
I'm here.
It's
Kelshaw.
Rev, right?
Kelshaw.
Kelshaw. Sorry, I'll get used to these.
It's okay. There's a lot of bouncing of
Kelshaw.
characters going on. Supporting
Yeah.
crew.
And it doesn't help that I'm looking at the I'm looking at Discord, not Roll20. Uh, addressing Kelshaw, which sounds very French. Kelshaw, uh, you have a lot of anger and pride in that anger, don't you? And as the voice speaks, it starts to, like I said, it starts in the comm systems, but then it feels like it's all around everybody.
Come out and face me, coward!
I am already here. What is your greatest fear? What makes you so angry?
Quick aside to the GM, because I'm only going off of what we've seen of Kelshaw. Would you mind filling me in a little bit about her and her motivations?
Presume this is addressed to me here.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Because all I have to go off of is what we've seen of her in roleplay.
Yes. So I would describe Kelshaw. She was, let's see, she is obviously Klingon Kohach, formerly of Galidan 2. I believe she was one of the hostages taken that you discovered
Yes.
at the beginning of the campaign. Was going to be subsequently sent into or like sold to the Orions, basically. And as far as like how she'd lived life up to that point, what kind of motivated things, she's very much, I think, the sort of person that finds her personal struggle, her personal like drive towards the Klingon version of self-improvement, towards building things, towards what you can create and maintain, and kind of like approaches life broadly the same way. I think that like after the events of the campaign, I'd say that kind of upended things, but opened her to the new opportunity of building something beyond that, in part because the colony seemed to get by while she was away, and it was a sign she could leave something behind and have it last, and so that she could build things up out here, new adventures and all that. That's very loose thinking I would apply to it.
Sorry, you cut off at, well, I cut off at, that's very loosely.
That's very, basically that's how I would think about it. I suppose the anathema to that would be, destruction of that which, like, that is defeat to her. To see
Gotcha.
those things that get built up, destroyed and kicked aside, particularly when there's no purpose to it.
Gotcha. My anger, my fears are mine to conquer, not yours, foul demon.
I haven't been called a demon in a long time. There was a time when they worshipped me. They would come for miles around to share their loss, their fears, their hatred. Battles were fought for honor and glory that these Klingons seem to enjoy.
Wait, what's a mile?
Space mile. distance.
Space battle.
This was back before the Klingon metric system.
Many visited me, and some unions, times of happiness, times of joy, but everyone goes away. Everyone went away. Everyone in engineering needs to give me a either control and command or presence and con roll. This does not need the extra die roll. Difficulty of 1. Those of you that are heading from the bridge notice that when you leave the bridge, the comm systems stop. You can still hear it coming from the bridge, but they're not wide open down the halls.
Let's go, Raldar. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go,
All right. So that would be perfect. So you now have 3 floating momentum because it was a difficulty 1 success. So you all feel a very strong sense of loneliness just wash over you. Traven, you feel it's very similar to the feeling that you felt before, but it's of that calmness, that at ease, but it's just this massive wave of feelings. That loneliness you get from missing a loved one that passed away. Whether it's been a couple of weeks or it's been years, and you still remember how they felt. How it felt when you first said goodbye to it. It doesn't seem to affect you. You feel it, but it doesn't seem to affect you too much. You can react to it however you wish. You see with that narrative complication, I will say that you do see a shadowy figure on one of the larger view screens. It's humanoid in shape, bathed in black smoke, and the view screen that it is on is currently looking very icy.
The terminal's messed up.
Oh,
Do we all see it, or does only Raldar see it?
All of you see it.
Okay.
You mean everybody in
the engine room,
pit?
I can see.
In engine.
Okay.
In engine. Yep.
Do not worry, Hutek. We will not leave you alive. If Klingons visited this place worshipping you, then they did not finish the job.
It wasn't so much me they worshipped. It was It was a great honor to fight on my at my temple.
Are the comm systems still open? I mean, we're only down a hallway while this conversation is going on.
It's fading. It's getting very distant down the hall, but you can catch some of it.
The door's probably closed behind us too, so I don't imagine.
Did it close behind you?
Yeah, if they're meant to be vacuum sealed, then I don't imagine the sound carries quite that much.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Thank you for that clarification. Some of those ship things I'm not sure about, especially in emergency controls or emergency.
Well, the bridge and the engine pit are on the same deck. There's just one long corridor in between, and it's just not that big a ship.
Yeah, I mean, if the captain defaulted the ship to have the doors, or like all the doors open, so that he could just call down to Raldar, then maybe sure. But in space, if something bad does happen, as is wont to happen to Klingon ships, then that means vacuum can quickly become an issue.
Yeah, it would kind of suck.
A lot, actually. All the air out of the
I
room.
was looking on the displays or the maps that we've got of our ship. Is the base transporter room on the same deck as the bridge and everything, or is that down a deck with the engine? I know we have a crew transporter area, and then we've got a cargo transporter area.
So cargo transport would be on the sub deck below that, and the crew transporter that should actually, I think, be that's on the at least one deck above, or on the crew deck.
Okay. So you guys wouldn't pass by it coming down that hall then.
Yeah, we'd probably hit the elevator before we get to the reactor pit, and be taking it up the level to, or well, down a level rather, if we're going to the sub deck.
The personnel transporter is definitely, it's on the crew deck. It's actually right next to the captain's quarters.
Okay.
And across the hall from the med bay.
And our doctor's currently
not here.
Yeah, what doctor? We don't so much have a doctor as we have a chef with some hypo sprays
and some band-aids.
He serves
hypospace in a dream. Hypospace in a dream.
Yep, he's prepared to serve the crew.
So if anybody asks for a doctor, we get to say Doctor Who.
No, we do not.
we just die.
All right, back in the engineering pit. What do you guys? What do you?
Boss, can I say something? This would be to you, Raldar.
Yes.
So clearly, spacemen is well, not any one person's affliction. Clearly, we're dealing with something much bigger than what we're used to, or perhaps some. Look, space is weird and hard, and there are all manner of things we don't understand out here. But suffice to say, whatever it is somehow in ship. Perhaps by energy field, or something that has infested computer system. Given a talking woman in the that we now have in the ship, apparently, doing honorable combat like all Klingons. Basic point is, I don't, given, we know dilithium chamber's stable, and I get feeling if we check other systems, and antimatter reserves might still be, it's possible they could still be stable. I will double check everything, just to make sure. But I get the feeling it may not be enough to simply restore that system, but more, we may need to figure out what this entity is. So perhaps maybe it would make sense for efforts to split, some spent to try to regain control, and if necessary, do battle with asteroid, or at least find a way to not die to that, and the rest figure out whatever mystery is, or find a way to purge computer, find anomalous component, kick it out, get rid of evil spirit man. Does that make sense? He says, waving
That
his big
makes-
muscly arms.
I get the gist of what you are trying to convey. From the sounds of it, I assume the bridge crew is already investigating on what that thing is. Mystery boxes and whatnot. Now, I will do what I'm good at and try and get this damn ship working again.
I will help you with that, Raldar.
Good.
Real quick, Joe. At this point, I said he was going to do it, and perhaps during some of this, Nalgari might have gone to look at a station to see if he could find the internal sensor reading that Vopri took. Could that be something that just happened and that I could have relayed by, that I'd maybe be able to relay by word of mouth or something like that?
Yeah. There would be, being engineering and kind of, I'm assuming that Klingon ships would function similar to Federation ships, where engineering it can, in emergency situations, could be used as kind of an alternate bridge ish. Um,
Yeah,
and so
you could
there,
reconfigure the controls on a
yeah.
Klingon ship just like that.
So there would be a station down here for sensors and life signs and stuff like that. So um, he could have gone over to that station and kind of poked up the current settings, and you still detect there is a life sign on the bridge. There is a life sign in the transporter room. And there is also a group of life signs coming down the hallway, uh, heading towards the I guess the lift at this point. But
And
all your crew appear to be accounted for.
I suppose one question here that would be especially pertinent to Nagri. Is there a life sign still reading in Dar's compartment?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, that's a good thing.
a boss, will you begin repairs? It's one anomalous thing. One thing I can't quite check. I can't wrap head around. Biosign reading appears to be in transporter bay, but don't know much about that. You two obviously need to fix the ship, but perhaps transporter room also deserves a look here. Small man, gesturing to you, Traven. Small chef, yes. Uh, you are no longer afraid. Would you like to come and join me?
Sure.
If
So
that's
you know,
okay.
I'm not much of an engineer.
That's okay. I suspect that more likely we have to fight.
I don't think we're gonna be able to fight this thing.
Well,
Not in the way you think.
well, you have brains there. You'll help me figure it out. Honestly, I'd probably do more of the fighting.
Raldar,
Yes.
do you have anything that could make an electrical discharge? Like something that solders, or not a conventional weapon, but something that can use like electricity.
Well, there was a stun spear I made a while ago.
Do you know where that is?
It should be in the cargo hold.
Let them know to grab it. If we can't hit it physically, we might be able to hit it with something else.
Built it a long time for Dar.
Or you do know, if electricity, if energy affects it, then we could just, and puts his hands into like a vague gun shape, vaporize. But although disruptor
point.
has its uses.
Do you have a disruptor pistol?
Let's see. I suppose that'd be a question to the GM. At least, in your role as Azek the captain in the weeks before, would Nogri's performance been enough for him, to allow him to carry a weapon on his person?
I think he would have had a blade at least.
Okay. Let's see. Little underarmament for that. We find it on the way. Klingon ship.
No.
There's weapons everywhere.
No need. Take mine. You're better with it than I am.
Oh. Can do. I can work with this.
So you're handing the disruptor over?
Yes.
As you do, both of you need to roll me a control and command or presence and con roll.
Oh boy. Control and command once again. I don't succeed at all.
Yep.
I totally forgot. Am I still being intimidated?
Yes.
Lit.
And do they need to roll the magic d20 as well?
No, not for this one. Okay. Well, Nogri, as he hands over the disruptor, you see it grow fangs and grow teeth and kind of morph into some kind of a organic creature as it reaches out to try to bite you. Traven, you notice the sheer panic on Nogri's face as kind of that wave of what the heck is going on, and I'm not sure what Nogri would do at this point, but that's what you both are seeing.
Nogri is, there'll be a slight shock to his face, but he's also going to pull the tak that he's been given, and, have it ready reflexively, both of his arms, big meaty tree trunks of arms are going to be raised as, he backs up just enough to, get range to, be able to, wind up for a slash with a reversed grip on the dagger. Just reflexively trying to go hostile. He's not at all focused on Traven. It is very much like the creature here.
Do you have a problem with guns?
Well, I have a problem with spontaneous things happening. Hold on, wait. Let's see. GM, could I invoke a value to try and re-roll on the control and command roll there?
Absolutely.
Okay, space is tough, so you've got to be tougher.
Okay, difficulty or what?
All right.
Can I assist with command by calming him down?
You definitely can.
Well, I've got it here, so
Okay.
yeah. Nogri.
Feel free to roll if you want to roll, Traven. You can roll again too, because narrative complications are fun.
He does have a very good point.
Raven would do it.
This must be a new definition of fun of which I've been previously unaware.
Haven't you enjoyed the D20 equivalent of pain sticks repeatedly?
Would it be
Emotional pain
command?
sticks?
Yeah, it's control or command or presence and con.
Would I be convincing him not to resort to violence?
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
A second question. If I have a talent that adds a bonus d20, do I get that bonus d20 if I'm assisting, or do I still roll the 1?
I don't remember.
If you're
I think
assisting,
you.
then it should just be the single roll.
Okay.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay. With your Nogri, with your roll, and we'll say Traven tried to help you to calm you down, but um, he felt his words were encouraging. Um, but in a brief, in your mind starts to get clarity, and the monster that you see fades away in kind of a puff of black smoke, and there's just the disruptor sitting there, um, looking perfectly normal. You do have a very strong sense of doom and kind of that gloom over kind of a wave over you. It lingers a little bit longer than it should have, but then it just dissipates. It's kind of that fear that you get when you are in an extremely dark hallway, or if you've ever been in a empty schoolhouse and you're the only one there, um, and there shouldn't be anybody else there, but you still feel like there's something there. That feeling kind of lingers, and then uh,
Nongari will just furrow his brow and sheath the dagger. With the disruptor looking back to normal, he'll try to confidently grasp it and get a handle for it just to make sure that it feels as right in his hand as it can. Don't think we can rule out space madness just yet, but I guess, stay vigilant.
Agreed.
So, I guess in that case, Nagra and Traven probably would head out from there. Um, so that, unless, Cheesy, unless you've got anything else you want to do in here, that at least does it for Nagri. So, of course, Kelshaw and Raldar are still going to be here. So if they've got anything they want to do, then by all means.
And
I will
obviously,
say,
we're going to pass each other, these two different groups in that corridor, because that corridor is the only place where there are the ladders to go up and down between decks.
Or will we?
Yeah, we could just as easily miss each other. The elevator could be down whilst we are, while I'm about to
Elevator's
knife a
not
gun.
working.
Oh, that's right. You're going down the stairs, we're going up. Figure it out.
before we change scenes here, I will state that you do have 3 floating momentum if you
Okay.
wish to use it.
Do we want to buy an advantage to get the elevator working again?
Yes.
Would that be acceptable, GM?
I'm fine with it. I'm
I
fine
will.
with
I
it.
will. I would allow with that.
Can,
We
can,
can.
can we say that Nagri buys the advantage specifically so that while the others are had to walk down the stairs, Nagri says, "Oh, wait, no, I can do this. I do this bypass all the time. No, fixed." And they are able to take the elevator.
Yeah. Yep. You hear a very southern voice from the comm systems, and and power kind of that here. Let me help you, darling. And the power comes back on, along with uh, Nagri's assistance.
Such dulcet tones. Once again, though, Caligo, well, first, say a bit there, Cheesy, sorry.
What's up?
Oh,
No, that was me.
oh, my mistake. I was just gonna say, once again, Caligo, Rev, you two want to do anything with Kelshaw and Raldar here, like... I don't want to step on your toes.
I just wanted to have a quick an aside with, seeing as I'm going down the hallway there with Zynol and Bopri.
Okay. Are we done in the engine room then? And then we can move to that scene.
Believe so.
I think so.
All right. Back in the hallway, there's a group of folks that are heading down the hall. What would you like to do?
Well, as we
Temma.
pass by the airlock, I have a bit of a thought, and I'm like, "Hey, you looked at where that rock was, right? Where is it in like relation to us? The like, where is it? Can you like point in its direction from here?"
Can I?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so is it in the direction of the airlock, or at 90, anywhere between 0 and 90 degrees away from the airlock?
You can see a very large shadow in the nebula, but it does not look asteroid shaped. It just looks like a very large shadow in there. So there could be something there, but it you can't really make out exactly what it
Well,
is.
I mean, I can't look at there. There's no way to see into the airlock from here. No, I just want to know, because maybe we can like overpressurize the airlock and then open the outer doors and let the air push us away from the rock.
I see what you're about to do. Okay.
You know, I ain't got the math for that, but can we do it? He's asking Vopri and Zynol.
Vopri is still completely useless, I think, from like he is spooked.
I'm gonna do the Benny Hill Jackie, you know, pat 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 on the head. Hey, wake up, dude. Need your input.
I don't know. And I think he's going to loop around and try to, like, move onto the other side of Zionol so that Zionol is now between him and Chemok.
I got big arms, and Zionol's tiny.
Zionol's still tall enough to be punched, so I think that provides some cover.
Well, he was punched. Sorry. That was last week.
It was so long ago.
Yeah.
As you guys are discussing the airlock, Nogri and Traven will appear in the hallway for a brief moment. And the entire hallway goes completely dark, where you cannot see anything in there. There is some light coming through. I'm assuming there's an airlock window.
No, not on the inside. Well, okay.
Not on the inside.
At least there wasn't when I drew the map, but yeah.
Okay.
And space is dark anyway.
Yeah. If there's any kind of window in here, there's some light coming through there, flashes of light from the storm, but for the most part, it is extremely black in here. You hear over the PA system or the comm system so many echoes on this ship. So many lives lived. And in a flash, all the lights come back on. And you see the hallway is filled with kind of spectral people, all moving about the ship as though it were a fully functioning ship with a fully functioning crew. There are people walking down the hall with guns. There's people walking down the hall carrying crates. There's some that are just simply talking, carrying pads. You start to notice that do we have let's see, who would be the longest person to have served on this ship
That
with
would
the
be
group?
Vopri.
Yeah.
Vopri, you notice that a lot of these people are previous crew members. Some of them are even the crew that you have next to you, moving about the ship. They are going in the same. Eh, your mathematical mind would deduce that they're um, going about their days like they had when this first happened.
So I'm basically seeing like the Nausicaans and the old Captain Calvac walking around, since they were, because it's worth remembering that like the Yan was, for all intents and purposes, left to rust out after the Imperial fleet stopped using it, and that it was only bought sometime later on, and Vopri came on after that. So more like nobody would recognize the Klingons from earlier on, but you could, I
Okay.
suppose, could suspect that there's like people in
Yep.
old or different styles of uniform, basically.
Yep. There's kind of a wide range of it of people on this deck. Um, you do pick out the rest of you do pick that were here during the brawl from last week. You do pick out Traven opening up a figure that looks like Traven opening up uh kind of doing that motion of opening up um the locker in here to get the flashlights, and it kind of replays the scene from last week where um you're waking up Nogri, the punch, um and then it just kind of repeats all together. There's lots of people moving around, echoes of people that have been here before, but they do not seem to interact with any of you. What do you all wish to do? Traven and Nogri have made it into the hall
Are
and
we
are
all?
seeing that. You're all
We're
seeing
all
this.
seeing it. Whoa. That's basically Hamak's response. He goes full blown Keanu Reeves.
We should just keep moving. They're not messing with us. We shouldn't mess with them. And stay away from your own image. I don't know why, but that feels like the wrong thing to interact with.
So we shouldn't be caught touching ourselves.
Yes. Wait. No. I mean, yes, you're correct. But no. We need to develop a signal to determine that we're the right images, if that makes any sense.
You'll be able to you'll notice each other very well from the others because you are all in very physical form. The spectral images or the spectral shapes are extremely see-through. So
Got
it's
you.
very easy to pick who's real and who's not.
We're all a little dense.
Some more so than others.
At least you turned the lights on.
That was mighty human of him.
Yes, well, I'm sure you have important things to do elsewhere downstairs. We will leave you to your work. We will, with the lift going, we'll take this one. You wait for the next one. We do something important. Okay, bye.
While you're down in cargo, before we leave, grab the shock spear. Apparently Raldar made one. That might be effective against him if we do have to fight.
Where is it?
In the
Alright,
cargo
bye.
bay.
Let's go, Nogri.
just mashing the closed door button.
All right. Well, okay.
So, if you want, I can just throw up a theater of the mind thing for the cargo bay.
Okay. Before we do that, the scene shifts, and this is a nice spot for a break for our crew, because this will be a very theater of the mind moment on the bridge. the The bridge of the Yan is very silent. There's not a lot of there's some noise from the sensors going off. The displays still read proximity alert. With a bright flash, a Azek Korg stands in front of his chair. He looks around for a moment and moves and notices the sensor array displaying the proximity alarm, and he moves over to the helm and starts punching commands into it. There's something different about this Azek. His coloration's a little bit brighter. His demeanor, the way he stands, seems to be a little bit more firm. But there happens to be an uneasiness that falls on the bridge as he is punching commands into the computer. The controls for him are a little difficult with their current configuration. The scene fades as Azek is punching commands into the system, and we go to the
Does he
cargo
have
bay.
both arms?
That's what I was wondering.
Well,
Well, nobody is there the to see that.
if Azek reverts from
Um,
if Azek reverts from tapioca, does he have both arms? And nobody's there to see it.
that
Anyway,
is the question. All right, we're in the cargo bay. Hopefully, everybody got some refreshments and hydrated, and yeah. In the cargo bay, you arrive. Um, Power seems to be flickering on. It kind of flashes between yes, emergency power, and full lighting, regular lighting. There doesn't seem to be a pattern to it or anything like that. What do you wish to do in the cargo bay?
I'm sorry, could you come again? Sorry. There was a minor emergency where I was at.
You arrived at the cargo bay.
Okay. And what is
What
there? What do I see?
The lights flicker from emergency lighting to regular full lighting. The crate sits open in the middle of the cargo bay floor. It is blinking. There's a couple of lights on it that are still blinking.
Is it a
Just
standard Klingon cargo container?
it seems older, a lot older. You do not recognize the type of um, box that this is, or crate that this is.
The box is
Looking,
open,
yeah.
but does it have like a roll, like a roll top desk kind of open? Is it got flaps, doors, or is it just a yawning portal?
The crate itself, it has trying to describe the lid. It's just a lift off and slide over kind of lid.
Okay.
You've probably seen this style of lid on, the best way I can describe it is a sarcophagus type lid. Kind of big and heavy.
Is the box made of stone?
It's of some kind of a metallic similar to stone. There are symbols along the side of it that you do not recognize. It's kind of a mix of new technology and old technology, or new technology and old construction. There does appear to be some technology woven into the inner part of the crate that housed some kind of a transport signal. There does appear to be some elements of residue inside the crate.
Oh, I'm not sticking anything in the box.
Yeah. Well, this is just observation.
Okay.
So what else would you like to do?
Well, there's the box, he says, pointing to it.
Scan it.
I don't have a scanner.
Vopry's shaky hand rises with the scanner as he tries to push buttons on it to initiate that, just kind of autopiloting. Would reason and science be permissible?
That would work.
And can I assist with presence and command?
Go for it.
How do you wish to set me at ease?
Difficulty, let's see, let's do a difficulty of 1 or 2 on this one. Let's go 2.
All right.
Vopry, my friend. The sooner you get this tidied up, the sooner you can go back to your nice happy chair and do your nice happy scans without worrying about any of this.
Well, we'll just find other stuff to worry about, but don't worry about that.
Schmuck!
Let's see how this roll goes. I'm spending a momentum for cautious science and the third die.
And GM, great GM at Azik. Normally, I would never impose such things upon myself. But should I increase the complication range by 1 based off of Shamok's commentary of my assistance?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I will re-roll. I can. Well, do we want it to apply to me too, or just have? Because I can re-roll that if you'd like. It's
no, just use that roll. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, none of them would have complicated.
Yeah, I didn't help anyways. It's fine.
Yep. He just says, "Okay, I just like scanning for life forms."
Life forms.
Yes.
You
yes.
precious
Where
little life
are
forms.
you?
I still wonder if that scene was improv.
He ad-libbed that.
But okay,
He ad-libbed that. He was just supposed to start pushing the buttons, and then the looks that all the other actors give him, like Jonathan Frakes looks off camera at the director at the time, like, what the hell are we doing? And they just kept on going. That was an entire
That's so awesome.
Yep. But
right,
for the record, that is 3 successes.
And we do need 2 regular
yes.
D20 rolls.
The Nebula, right. That could be a crit there. I could generate a crit. I could do that. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna swap out my the 10 that I have there for a 5, so I have 4 successes. I have all the successes, so we are strong.
Zionel, does that allow
Um,
you a success? And would
it
you
would
like to
allow me
use
a
it?
success. What was the difficulty of this roll?
There's
2?
1 or no 2, yeah.
No, he'll exercise the better part of caution this time, just because of the difficulties he's having to deal with his overzealous vocal cords next to him.
Okay,
I
well
have no idea what you're talking about.
that is 1 floating momentum then, as I took the Nebula die.
Okay.
We're having fun.
The rest of you see Vopri start to make scans of the box or the crate. Vopri, you feel uh, the just a sense of eeriness come from all around you. Please describe to me a childhood memory that Vopri would have, where it's a very vivid memory of an object or an item that they would have had as a child.
Oh, that is a scant thing, but remembering back to remembering back to the cold, dark caves of the world that he grew up on, and particularly the mining operation where his parents toiled, and at a young age he too was forced to toil the under the watch and threat of the Klingons that held him. He might have been able to gradually build up the. I imagine that they would have been given some sort of very basic sort of a slight amount of basically space straw, we'll call it, or Klingon straw, something like that. Some indigenous plant that was not particularly comfortable, but could at least be bunched up to create some sort of headrest or pillow on the long nights. So, some of the a little bit to spare from one that had gone a bit too far, I think his parents would have rigged up into some sort of vague, vague shape of an entity. So, he might have, at a very young age, remembered something that they told him resembled an animal from the home world, a world he has never known. Um, so maybe a vague straw-shaped animal of some sort, or straw-shaped to be an animal of some sort.
For a brief moment, your mind relives that moment to every feeling, every um, the sense of smell, the sense of touch, and in your hands, uh, you're holding the scanner, but you're looking inside the crate, and there appears to be a that object, the straw, the animal made of straw, um, is laying um, in the crate itself. Um, as your mind begins to come back to uh, the normal reality, you still see that object there, but you have an overwhelming sense of ease from your fear, for kind of a wave of courage. It's not a lot, and it's something that you've not felt in a very long time. But some of the fear that you have had over the last several hours since this all began is just feels like a weight has been lifted off your mind's shoulders. The sensors that you are seeing detect the box as extremely old. It doesn't register any kind of information that is known to your data banks. There does still appear to be a transporter signal coming from the box. Um, it does register, as I kind of described, the new technology in an old box. Um, very melded together. Beyond that, you're not quite sure what your sensors are reading. It's very unfamiliar to both your sensors and you.
Yeah. Point of clarification here, and I can spend the floating momentum that I had from the Nebula die if you would like this. Um, when you say the transporter signal, is that to say that it has a signature of a transporter, like it was recently beamed on board, or that there is some sort of active signal that is awaiting, like being processed from a transporter buffer?
The second, there's something in there in a transporter buffer that's awaiting activation.
If I may spend the momentum to do so, can I ascertain whether would my scan be enough to tell me if the pattern looked does it look like something that would be more an object, or could I interpret it potentially to be some sort of life form?
Yeah, I'd say spend the rest of the momentum for that.
Okay, so that floating one would go to the
Yep.
question.
The it is not organic, so it's very there are some organic components to it, but it's not a life form.
As Vopra steadies out and like really concentrates on the problem, he furrows his hairless brow and says, and beyond what we can obviously detect there is some sort of transporter signature, a pattern somehow being sustained. Perhaps there is technology here of a sort. Well, obviously there is some sort of technology we do not quite understand. I may be able to ascertain more about the nature of it with further momentum expenditures to obtain information, but past that point, and unless anybody has other questions they'd want to ask above board, I, I may have an idea. We could we could try to reconstitute the object that appears here, or the transporter pattern being sustained by the object. There are organic components, but I do not believe it will necessarily be alive, so we could use the cargo transporter here to process that. Unless you think that is a bad idea, then we could.
No, I don't know, little blue dude. So like some explosives are organic.
He has a point.
That is a good point.
We could ask Traven and the others in the transporter room to materialize it up there instead, although it would put them at risk too. Before we...
Yeah, well, I gotta look for the pokey electric stick he was talking about.
Okay. Focusing a little more to you, Zional. You know, Zainal, you have always struck me as one with very judicious sense, careful operation. But should we try to bring it here in hopes that it does not harm us? Should we try coordinating with the others?
I think this is a little bit past any of our individual fields of expertise.
I don't even like tea.
But let's go for it. I mean, it's either this or we crash into an asteroid. And again, I really don't feel like dying today. Do you, Fulbright?
No. Oh.
All right, fine. I'll drink the tea.
Excellent.
Oh.
Did anybody hear that in the engine room?
I don't believe we opened the comm line back up to them. It was
Of course not.
unless Betty is or that what rather unless the was it Betty that I think I thought was gone. Could Kirby haunting us?
There doesn't
That'd
seem to
kinda
be
suck.
any open comms, and you'd think that the power that was used for comms is going somewhere else from here.
GM, before I attempt to reconstitute the signal, if it's okay with everybody, I would like to spend one momentum from the pool that we have to ask, as far as the new tech components of this very old box, would that be along the lines of, is it transporter technology of some fashion?
Yes.
Okay. That is interesting. That is good to know. Let's see here.
If it has what species has Vopri been involved in with his science stuff? Has he gone a lot past the Klingons and their worlds?
So if you're asking basically how the general sense of how Vopri knows what he knows, most of it is like what he could pick up from the odd trader or like sort of odd trades among the Jig Pui. Klingons were not much for teaching him anything, and any details he'd pick up were very much any details he'd pick up from Klingons were very much something he had to do in secret or like peering around a corner at the right time and looking at a computer when nobody was busy. Some of that's probably changed with time spent on this ship, but and he might have some experience with like Creel or whatnot as well, like a few of the other independent sorts of traders. So let's see. Would that answer the question, or is there anything else that needs clarification?
Yep. That answers the question.
All right. Let's see. So, before I do anything, anyone in the mood to chime in? Any questions you guys would want to ask with regard to the mysterious transporter tech?
No, that's kind of beyond Hammock's. That's not in Hammock's wheelhouse. So he's just, like I said, he's looking for the pokey electrical stick that someone told him to grab but didn't tell him where it was.
Zion will just make sure that this is not ever something that he's encountered before.
Vopri would share the scanner, so if there's any insight.
Would that be a momentum spend to ask a question, or would that be a roll to determine?
We've got the momentum to spend, so we could obtain that information and save ourselves the roll.
Is this
Yeah.
anything he's encountered before in his either in his random pickups of equipment or in his previous wet work as a shock troop?
I'm trying to remember. There was an alien race that Next Gen dealt with them with the portals.
Iconians?
Iconians?
Iconians, thank you.
Yeah, I
For
don't
the
think.
life of me, I could not think of those. But I don't think anybody's dealt with the Iconians yet.
The Romulans only first encountered them the same time the Enterprise did, I think.
That's
The
the only
Iconians?
known
The
thing.
Iconian Gateway. The Iconian Gateway.
Yeah.
Well, the Iconia itself is in
Iconia,
it's
in
in
Federation.
it's in the
It's in the
neutral zone.
Yeah. It is in the neutral zone.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the damn neutral zone.
But it's
So I'll
also
leave that up to you.
barren and desolate, so...
Yeah,
and
the
lost.
southern end that almost goes to where the Klingon border was.
Yeah. So it's very much
So I'll leave it up to you, Mr. GM.
Yeah.
Has he encountered anything like this before?
You've heard of embedded transporter tech being used by smugglers to transport goods or people across space without being detected, but you've never encountered anything that's been combined with old tech like this or old construction like this.
So what I'm hearing is this is a Romulan wet dream, and it's worth a lot of money.
Unless there's AI involved.
Unless there's AI involved, which the organic pieces in it lead me to hope is not. But that's really good to know. Okay, then he's on board with the plan.
Okay. Well,
For those listening, this does not have to deal with the Iconians. I'm trying to remember a race that it would fit with, but it's not the Iconians.
I gotcha. Well, in that case, Vopri, I guess, would make the attempt to use the ship's cargo transporter to rematerialize whatever pattern is being born by the box.
Okay.
So
And that's born with an E, right?
Yes.
I hope.
So this.
You get up to the pad, and you notice there are paw marks on the controls. It looks like sometimes if you go out in the morning and a cat has ran across the hood of your car with dusty feet, it kind of looks like that, where something rather feline was touching the controls here. And yeah, that's what you see on the controls. They are active, and there is power to them.
Okay. Now, Vopri will just make the comment. I do not think we would have we would have known if one of the cats had been aboard the ship.
And nothing this size. It is larger than what was it Cheshire was?
Cheshire, yeah.
Cheshire, yeah.
I don't want to know what this was. I just rematerialize quickly so that we don't have to deal with this. I hope Kimok finds the electric stick.
Kimok, give me a insight security or daring and security to look for that stick. Vopri, why don't you give me what would you think for computers use? Control
Sorry, yeah. Control plus engineering, I guess, would make sense.
Yep.
If this is if this is a transporter task. The question I would have would be, what like how the difficulty would scale in this case. Usually for transporter tasks, it starts as a base difficulty 2 if you're beaming like from one pad to another. We're beaming to a pad, which would at least mean that it would only go up to a difficulty 3. The question is, does this ancient transporter buffer thing, does it count as like something that does it count basically as enough of another transporter that we don't like get an increase in difficulty? Is it meant to transport?
I'd go with the difficulty of 4 on this.
Okay.
Oi. Do I need to roll the d20 while looking
Yeah.
for the electric stick?
Yes.
I don't think I find the electric stick.
Oh no. Let's see. So I will. Oh dear.
Do you
Well,
first? Do you wish to use that extra die for 2 successes?
Which extra die?
the Nebula die.
Because the Nebula die.
Oh, I could use that as a success for this?
Yeah. Oh, you might have been out for that. For you can choose to use the Nebula die as a success for it. How last time it was we were going for the high. Um, I've switched it up to fit with the system a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the lowest die that you roll, a narrative complication automatically triggers. If it's
Well,
low
guess what?
enough,
That's happening already.
yeah, if it's low enough that you can use it, then you can choose to add it to your successes with a narrative complication added on it.
What if I'm already getting a narrative complication? Would that be 2 narrative complications, or
There
just
would be
a more complicated complication?
GM's discretion on that one, but in essence, there would be 2 complications on the table instead of just 1.
I'll take the 2. What the hell?
All right.
Since we're doing this enough, and since the GM is mercifully small on this, and possibly for further selfish reasons down the line, I will take 1 momentum to buy an additional die. I'm also going to give you 2 extra threat because for a 4th die, because I think that I might be unleashing a sealed can of evil, or there's at least a non-zero chance. So here you go, Joe. I'm gonna give you
I
that.
just drew it.
Oh,
I drew
good.
it. So
Good.
go for the roll.
All right. So control plus engineering. I believe that the ship could also assist with structure and engineering if it's going to help me enough. But that said, I got 5 successes on that roll.
As you begin to tinker with your successes there, and the ship tries to help, but one of the narrative complications is the entire ship goes dark for a brief moment. The power kind of fluctuates, and you hear a voice. Everybody hears a voice boom over like throughout the entire ship. You are beginning to bore me. I shall take your pain, your loss, for my own. And with that, the lights flicker back on. You in the cargo bay are blinded by transporter signals or that transporter flash. The entire cargo bay is now full of supplies. Um,
Oh,
there
I'm
are
supplied.
there are Klingon. These are Klingon crates of food, of fuel, of there's crates of they're all labeled that you guys can see. There are crates of dilithium. There are crates of fresh gok. There's some. There are some goods as far as um, um, cloth and crafting materials like you'd see in like Fallout kind of thing. But it's all very nice stuff. It's and there are food supplies. Down in engineering, there is a flash of a transporter signal, and there are some anything that you were running low on down here. A crate of supplies has appeared. It looks very the crate itself looks fairly new, but the label on it is kind of think of some stuff that you would have here in engineering. Um, those that were heading upstairs, I believe, would have passed. Let's see. Nobody would have passed mess hall yet. And that's basically what you see. And
I
Tabak,
am not moving all these boxes, man.
you find that spear, but it is now where that transporter signal went. It's now behind all the crates, so you can have access to it if you have to move some of the crates to get to it. But for the most part, it's yeah, the cargo hold is very full. The organic signals that you are getting from this are gone. There are no organic signals in here aside from some minor organic stuff with food supplies that would be in among the crates. Um, yeah, what do you wish to do next?
My question for you, Mr. GM, is how many points of stress damage does Zionol take, being a Reman who is very sensitive to light when this bright, blinding flash of light shows up?
You're actually perfectly fine. Um,
Really?
as the light started to shine on you, your mind kind of wandered a little bit, and it's a very odd feeling for you to have in this current stressful situation. You need to describe to me or describe to our viewers a scene from your childhood, or from when you were younger. Could be childhood, could be adolescence, could be whenever. What a sense when you were filled with complete and utter joy, a very time when you were extremely happy.
I think it was the first time that my handler, the Romulan who was in charge of training me, looked pleased with my progress in my little time learning how to sneak past various security systems. I had failed time and time again, and I finally figured it out. And that feeling of approval and that I had done something that would get me rewarded made me happy.
That wave of joy, you feel it flowing around you, and you are completely oblivious of what's going on. The last thing you remember is the Vopri going to the controls of the transport, the cargo transporter, and the next thing you see is the cargo room is completely filled with stuff. Tabak, or excuse me, Kemok and Vopri are standing there amongst all the stuff, and yeah, you're kind of a little disoriented.
We're disoriented by what exactly?
No, the Riemann is disoriented.
Okay. Yeah, the guy that we don't know who exactly and or what exactly he is.
All right, up on the we'll leave you guys to this. Let's go to the crew that's getting ready to go to into the transporter room. As you open up the door,
Did I find the stick?
yes, you did.
Okay.
And I'm assuming you'd want to move the crates to get to the stick.
I would have to probably at this point.
Okay.
And then be happy when I suddenly find a crate filled with food.
Yeah, one of the crates you moved does have fresh gawk in it.
Oh, that'd be in a
So-
barrel.
Okay,
That'd be
so it's a
heavy.
barrel.
That'd be very heavy.
So the crew that was getting ready to go into the transporter room. I don't know if Mr. GM, do you have access to my new token?
One moment here. I do, yes. Do you want me to make it
Okay.
visible the moment we like as we step in?
Yep. As you walk in, over by the hunkered down amongst tools and one of the transporter pads that appears to be dismantled, you see a very large furry cat. He appears to be working on the transporter system. He stands about 5 foot in length, or excuse me, he is about 5 foot in length and stands 3 feet tall. He has silver Maine Coon tabby looking fur. And he's extreme. He, like I said, he's extremely large for being a cat. Picture a Maine Coon or a lynx with the size of a lion. His fur has patches that are kind of orange in color, but the majority of him is that silver and white and gray tabby looking color. He notices the door open and he looks over. I wondered when people would show up. I've been trying to fix these darn transporters to try to help you all out. I noticed the ones in the cargo bay had been neglected for some time. My friend Mr. Korg left a gift for you all, and we were supposed to meet up some time ago, or maybe it was earlier or later. It gets confusing. But if there's any way that I can be of help, my name is DuPont. I'd be glad to help. What seems to be going on? And he speaks very fluid, very understanding, almost British, that posh British, high level British accent.
He speaks Klingon with a British accent.
Yes.
Nook nay, chaps.
Yeah.
I, at this point, Nogri's just blinking. He's just, Chef, uh, actually, what? Maybe Space Madness is coming. I,
I can picture David Tennant as Doctor. What? 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 And then we fade to black because it's that time.
Actually, it is that time.
Uh,
Traven, if you want to say something, you're more than welcome to. But I think because I need a little bit more space for next time. I think this would be a good time to fade. So Traven, get the last words in.
I'm not gonna say anything, but at first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna touch it. Can I touch it?
When you get closer to it, you notice that one of its eyes, the I think it's his left eye,
Yeah.
um, is it's feline, but it moves mechanically. If you've seen First Contact, it kind of appears to move like Geordie's eyes do, while his other side appears very organic. He kind of pulls back a little bit from your trying to touch, and please, if you wish to touch, uh, please ask first. Uh, we still have rules in space, do we not? Um,
Can I give you scratches?
what are these scratches? I have not encountered this kind of action before. There's a transporter here that needs fixed.
I need to
He
make sure you're real.
I am as real as uh, as you are, I believe. And he puts up a paw to your hands, and when you touch it, it is his left paw. It is cold, like metal, but it is very real.
No, agree, it's real.
I close out with the same line. What?
The scene closes on the ship, and we fade back to the bridge, where Azek is leaning against the consoles, and everyone hears a very loud voice. You bore me. And the ship goes into emergency lighting again, and all the displays show life support failing, environmental controls failing, um, and ship self-destruct sequence activated. And it shows 25 on the controls. And that is when we will
Well,
fade. That is when we will fade to be continued.
All right.
Um, I do appreciate the opportunity to GM again, and we'll be uh, part 3 will be next week, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so what will happen to our crew? We don't know. What's going on? Who is this new character? And why didn't he appear on the life support scans that Vopri and Nogri had done? Well, it did show up on Nogri's, I guess, when that's why they're up there. But yeah, uh, exciting times ahead for the crew of the Yan.
Yep. And we'll find out more about that next time. So we hope that for those of you joining in the archive that you enjoyed the video tonight, and that you either join us for the next one when it comes out, or come join us live on twitch.tv/GM in the Great Barrier. But until then, I think this is where we're going to close out for the week. So, yeah, we will see you folks later. Bye, everyone.